Hi, folks. Welcome again to Danny's Corner. My name is Danny. I want to continue this last part about why I don't believe in the American dream. So far, I've talked about different groups, but especially I'm focusing on the undocumented people coming into the United States. But I focused on other groups such as blacks, Native Americans, people with disabilities, and this whole eugenics movement that I talked about on my first video. And I said I was going to um, put a link, but I want to recommend another book before I start this last part, and that's Black Like Me. Short synopsis or summary of this video. It's a white person that decided to do an experiment and turn himself black by applying different chemicals, different things to make himself black. And then he just remained like that for quite some time. And there was a total difference between the way that he was treated when he was white and when he became black. There was a lot of rejection, a lot of doors were closed on him, etc. And so then he made another experiment where he actually was able to apply the, for lack of a better term, makeup, or these things that were able to change his skin. So he was able to remove it and move it, remove this and apply it back again. And so he would do this during the day and the night, just to see the change. And yeah, when he was white, they would treat him one way, and when he turned himself black, they would treat him another way. And there was a lot of backlash apparently when this book came out. It's called Black Like Me. I'm going to leave the link to the book if you would like to read it. It's an interesting read, and I want to thank the friend that recommended this book. It's an eye-opener. Yeah, although I'm blind. So today I want to speak about the history, a little bit of how Latin America thinks, a little bit of its economic, their economy as a whole, and some of the perceptions that we have here in the United States. And so here I go. The first thing is this. We have to remember that I don't think that Latin Americans as a whole know how much people make in the United States for their various jobs. Doesn't matter if you're an architect, if you are an electrician, a painter. It doesn't matter if you are a singer or another type of performer. It doesn't matter if you are a teacher or a custodian. You know how much you make. You know how much you're worth. Because that's what you already know. You've been in this country long enough, and you already checked, how much is this person supposed to make or whatnot. But a person that just comes here, you have to remember that perhaps they don't have an idea of what a person makes. And so for you may think, well, I wash dishes. I am a server. I want to make from $15 to $20 an hour. And here we have some person who doesn't even have papers or whatnot, and he's making 5 or 10 doing the same thing that I'm doing. Or why is he taking away my job? And the thing is, when you have it all, you don't have any way to compare. You might say, well, I was broke at one time or the other. But as I said in my first video, there's a difference between you being broke in the United States, you not having anything in the United States, and then going to another country in Latin America or in Africa or Asia and being poor there. They're two different things. You can't compare both things. You people come from a different walk of life, if you will. And so for 1 minute, if you can, try to put yourself in their shoes. They don't have any other reference to America, only what they see on TV, only what they hear on the radio, only what they read on the newspaper, let's say. Let me put myself into this mix for a bit, just to try and make this a bit clearer if you don't understand. There are some social behaviors that are unacceptable here in the United States, and there are some that are, there are some behaviors that are unacceptable and some that are. Okay, as a blind person, for example, we are told, face the other person when you're talking to them, because it's rude to talk without facing the camera or not facing the person. Okay, it is rude for a blind person or any other person, let's say, to do some mannerisms, right? It is rude for a person to chew with their mouth open. It's rude for a person, let's say, not to leave any tips. However, what would happen in this case? I'm a blind person, as you already know. What would happen if I came into a restaurant and didn't see the paper? I just paid for my thing. Somebody asked me, "Do you want to leave a tip? Do you want to leave a tip?" I said, "No, thank you." And let's say somebody was expecting a tip. What am I supposed to do? Leave it? Why? Because it's expected of me? But why should I leave it? Right? Okay, what about this whole thing of eating with different forks or different utensils, different types of food? How would a blind person know what fork or what type of spoon to use? I'm going to use whatever is available to me. If people stare, oh well, they're going to stare. If I'm doing something unacceptable according to you guys, what you guys are not seeing is that you guys are doing the same thing to me. You guys are doing some things that are unacceptable, like staring, like asking dumb questions. But yet you do it. In that same way, people who come to this country aren't doing these things that you claim that they're doing out of evil. They're not doing these things because they want to take your job away. That's the way you're perceiving it, but that's not the reality. The reality is that they want to feed their families, feed their children. And as I said before, it is our responsibility because we are to blame for some of the things that have happened to them. If you do not believe me, you better watch the third video if you wish. You don't have to explain so you can understand the story a little bit better. But a lot of us are too lazy, and we only want to believe what we believe, and we believe what we believe, and that's our way. We are rigid when it comes to our thinking. We are afraid of change. We want to cling to this past. We want to cling to this idea. We want to cling to this fantasy of the way America was when it never was that way, the way America should be when it's not. Let me tell you something too. In Latin America, and I'm just going to make some numbers because I really don't have the numbers, but this is just to show you how Latin American people are paid in general for something that for the same job that you do here in the United States. How much do they get paid? So, for example, I'm going to choose El Salvador, for example, because just like here, they use the dollar. Yes, you can use a U.S. dollar in El Salvador, which has been actually, it was a terrible idea to begin with, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, a lot of things actually in El Salvador are really cheap, cheaper than they are here. You say, oh, that's great. I can just go to El Salvador and move there and, pay less for my gas, pay less for this, pay less for that. Fine. What you don't understand, though, is that let's say that you work 8 hours a day. You work 5 or sometimes 6 or 7 hours a day, and you work for 12 hours straight, 13 hours. But let's say it's an 8 shift. You're not going to make the same wage as you do here. Let's just throw out a number. Let's say you make in the United States $2,000 a month. Pick the type of work that you want to do. $2,000 a month. Let's hypothetically say that you were to move to El Salvador and work the same thing, doing the same job, working the same hours. You're not going to get $2,000. You're going to get $1,000, maybe less. Okay. Now, let's imagine too that, let's say, you have not been to the United States and the only thing that you have known about the United States is through TV and the other things that I have mentioned. What are you going to do? You're going to believe, oh, this is how America is. I want to go there. I want to visit. I long for the day that I, get to board this or that and get to do all of these great things and get to earn this cash, get to do this with this money, get to be able to help my mom or my father or my brother, my sister. And you come here and you find yourself at a loss because, number one, you can't speak the language. Number two, people stare at you. Number three, you're quite confused because you're getting paid, sure, but other people, again, are looking at you with dirty looks, and you don't understand why. You live alone. You don't have your family with you. And every day is exhausting. Every day it's pretty hard. And it takes years for you to finally, in one way or the other, to bring your family. Now, a lot of people may say, well, illegal is illegal. And what they did was done illegally. Yeah, well, that has happened from the beginning of time. And as I said in my first video, justice doesn't care about any of that. Regardless if this was a country or not before 1776, what the Europeans did was illegal. They had no right to kill Native Americans. They had no right to take Africans and put them into ships, board them onto ships, and take them across to an unknown country, not being able to understand the language nor speak it. And they did not know that they were going to be treated as slaves. They did not have a right to treat people with disabilities the way that they have been doing, including what I mentioned before, the eugenics movement. So again, please tell me, who is more evil? Is it them that cross illegally into this country, or those of us that supposedly know better? But although we know better, we still keep on doing the same things to our own people. To our own people. So yes, you might earn $10, $12, $15 an hour, $20 an hour. You don't have that in Latin America. In fact, I'm going to make a series on the United States, especially on disabled people who, because of their disability or because of what the government decides what is qualified as a disability and what you can and can't do, how a lot of times people with disabilities or people on low income are not able to do anything, and they're just receiving crumbs. They're kept in poverty. But again, that's a topic for another video. And that's just to expose the hypocrisy that we have been living under, called the United States of America, where they claim to be land of the free and home of the brave. I would like to differ with that, because this is not home of the free and land of the brave. I'll tell you more what I think about that on another video. Thanks for joining me, and I hope that you have enjoyed this lesson, a quick overview. And don't forget to subscribe, to comment. I probably missed a lot of things, but I don't want to bore you with so many details. So thank you anyway. Leave your comments, your likes, share this video, subscribe, make any future suggestions, and I will catch you on the next video. Until later, bye.